Welcome into what used to be the last week of the season, week 17. We are here at the end of best ball season. If you've made it to your championship, congratulations. Yearly, same thing. But if you're eliminated, sitting on the back burner like us, we're degenerates and we're ready to gamble on some week 17 games. So join us. Come on in, pull up a seat, and grab your favorite adult beverage. It's the week 17 DFS Deli. Let's get it. Welcome in to the DFS Deli. I, of course, am the proprietor of this delicatessen, Sully Ali Shahid, coming to you live on a Wednesday night as we do with the early look of the Week 17 main slate. And, of course, the obligatory, I can't believe it's already the end of the season take is here, but we're here. It is one more week until the last week of the season. There's playoff implications abound, starting with tomorrow night's game, the Jets and the Browns, hometown Browns here. But we're going to break down the main slate for Sunday, 13-game main slate. And the NFL, for some reason, put 10 games at 1 o'clock and 3 at 4. I still don't understand their logic behind that. But there are some decent games, unlike last week. This week, I'm ready to bounce back, Chill. I'm ready to bounce back. Last week, as I was texting you nonstop, could not have gone any worse for me. First of all, okay, my yearly team got eliminated. My last best ball team got eliminated. I mean, for my best ball team, shout out to the Gus Bus. He was trying to get me there. I finished second in my pod. I was right behind first place, but just couldn't get one team through, man. It would have been nice to have a best ball team in the final, but we're here. As you know, FanDuel decided to shut down in the middle of the day, so there was no late swapping. There was no late slate, no 4 o'clock games. They just said, well. So I'm waiting on my refund from that, and I will continue to bark up that tree until you give it to me, FanDuel. So some of the takes this week are going to be from Yahoo, because that's where I'm taking my talents to this week. Sully in the DFS Deli is playing his DFS slate for week 17 on Yahoo of all sites. So you're going to get some weird dollar amounts today. There's no doubt about that. But disclaimer, for all the listeners out there that are still being degenerates and gambling on the DFS slate this week, Yahoo always has overlay in their tournaments. It never fills. And this is one of the weeks where there's going to be a lot less volume from DFS players. So those contests that have 100,000 entries or whatnot, like your Millie Makers and stuff like that on DraftKings that are guaranteed to fill, over on Yahoo, it ain't filling. So if you got a couple extra bucks laying around on Sunday, let's throw a couple lineups on Yahoo. You'll see your boy in the DFS Deli there. But tonight, Chill, welcome back. Week 17. How's everything going, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't have a very good week 17. Again, like I talked about it off air. I made, the plays, my secondary plays after my stacks really didn't do all too well, which kind of just sunk my lineup. So, kind of a downer this week, but that happens. So, we get ready to take a look here at a very intriguing slate of games here. A ton of games in the 1 o'clock window, 3 in the 4 o'clock window. So it'll be an interesting slate.
Yeah, Chill. Before we get into the DFS side of things, I kind of want to talk to you about regular season side of things, because me and you had a brief 5-minute conversation off air before we started to record about end of season awards, because these are things, futures, you can gamble on as well. So it still contributes to the degeneracy of gambling. So first of all, I kind of want to know your biggest surprise from the season, and we can go through the end of year awards as well, just in case people want to throw a couple hot 10s and 20s into the odds makers of those awards. So what has been your biggest surprise so far?
I mean, I think the biggest surprise, across from a football sense, is probably CJ Stroud, right? I think would certainly be the biggest surprise. I mean, if we take a look at the divisions here, other than it's probably CJ Stroud, and it's probably the Bucks second. Although they're only 8-7, they're leading their division, a division in which everybody kind of handpicked the Saints to win like rather confidently. Um, so I mean, like if you take a look at like division winners, you got everybody knew about San Fran. We knew the NFC East was going to be a two-team race. Nobody even gave the Giants credit in going into the season.
Right.
Um, so we knew that. You take a look at the AFC. I mean, the Chiefs kind of faltering a little bit or being on a down year ish is probably a bit of a surprise as well. They're not getting the number one seed, so they may actually have to travel the second week of the playoffs. So, you know,
Oh, imagine that. Patrick Mahomes playing on the road. Could you imagine? Oh my
um,
God.
unless if like Miami decides to lose and then Kansas City wins and they're playing a home game, so which could happen. Taking a look there at that, a bigger developing story could be if the Bills come back to win the AFC East. They're going to need some help from the Ravens this week. That could be rather interesting. If that does happen, if the Bills win and the Dolphins lose, that game will get flexed into Sunday Night Football, I'm sure.
Oh
Uh,
God, yeah. That's going to be the game of Week 18 without question.
yeah, so that game will just automatically get booted off the main slate into the Sunday night game. So if the Bills can pull it off, that's a cool story. But yeah, I think the in terms of football itself, it's I mean we're on the Mike Tomlin watch for being 500 or better. I mean
It's
that
automatic, chill. It's automatic. It doesn't
hey
matter if it's Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, It doesn't. It's Mike Tomlin. It's what he does.
are they sitting at 8 wins or 7 wins? Do they need to win out?
I think they need to win out.
Okay, so they
I
got to
can
beat.
triple check that.
So they got to beat Seattle, and then potentially, if Baltimore wins and Baltimore rests their players in Week 18, he could get to his 9 wins. So because he can't even go 8-8 no more. So
Well,
um,
luckily we don't have to worry about sitting players this week because every team, for the most part, still has something on the line. So
luckily for that, yes.
there's no seeds locked up. There's no resting players. Everything's a go this week except one person. Chill. The ride is ended.
They couldn't risk the ride getting hurt.
Yeah, the ride is ended, man. So let's after all these years on the Deli, when he came to when we came to Denver. It's been a great ride. Whatever team you play for next year, we wish you the best. Cheers to you, Russ. Cheers to you.
I mean, speaking of that, how about just shot in the dark? Russell Wilson is a blank next year.
Russell Wilson is a Raider next year. That's my hot take.
My hot take, Russell Wilson is a Pittsburgh Steeler next year.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one.
Listen, defensive coaches love veteran quarterbacks, and we know Pittsburgh ain't changing their ways. You go Russ, Najee, Harris, Jalen Warren. He's got, it makes sense. You get like Russ in that offense kind of makes a lot of sense.
At that point, the Muth becomes like TE1.
I mean, even the other kid I think would get used too. That Washington kid.
Yeah.
Like, listen, like he's still a little mobile, so he can kind of hide the offensive line a little bit. You need a quarterback in this division. Well, I mean, the Browns got Joe Flacco, so you need a serviceable quarterback in this division with that defense. So I think Russ to the Steelers makes a ton of sense.
It does. So the people want to know because there's still futures bets to place, chill, before we get into the main slate when they're building lineups this week. The people want to know. They still have odds out there for multiple awards or whatnot, but we want to hit some of the key ones. Who's the MVP? Who's the comeback player of the year? And who's the defensive player of the year? Also, the coach of the year. So hit me with your takes real quick. Who should we be placing money on for the remainder of the season? Those 4 categories.
So I think Lamar can wrap up MVP with a solid game against Miami this week. It's a weird year for MVP. It was a couple weeks ago, it was Dak, then it was Purdy, now it's Lamar. If Lamar has a bad game and CMC has a really good game against the commies, I think it could go to CMC. The small part of me says you bet Tyreek Hill and you pray to God he goes for like 250 and 250. Because like if they win the division, get the number 1 seed, and he's over 2,000 yards, like that's like obviously 0.5% of happening. But Waddle may be out this week, so
Right.
Yeah, so I'll just the chalk is Lamar. If you place bets on Lamar a couple weeks ago, you're dancing.
Yeah.
And then your boy Josh Allen, I think, has a small sliver of hope.
That's my pick, by the way. It's Josh Allen. If Josh Allen and his Bills win out, the Miami Dolphins lose this game on Sunday, and then the Bills claim that AFC East title after coming back. He leads the league in touchdowns.
But
He's PFF's number 1 graded quarterback. He's still going to have all the stats that go along with being the MVP. So if they're like the 2 or 3 seed, and obviously he's the best player on that team, I would put my money, which I already have, by the way, disclaimer. I would put mine on Josh Allen.
yeah, I mean that's Aaron Rodgers kind of came out and said the same thing. But then again, the Bills need the Ravens to win. Like, and if the Ravens are winning, Lamar's putting up numbers, so it kind of combats itself.
I mean, the Ravens have won sloppy games. They didn't
I
need Lamar every game. The Bills need Josh Allen every game, with the exception of one, with the exception of the Cowboys game. That could have been Kyle Allen back there, and they still would have boat raced the Cowboys. So,
I don't.
minus that game,
but they'll need Lamar.
I agree, and I kind of agree with your not kind of, but I do agree with your CMC take, because I was on my buddy Evan's podcast a few weeks ago, and I also said if there was an MVP outside candidate, it would be CMC. I mean, if he goes nuclear, which he's very capable of against the commies this week, he's obviously leading. He's right with Raheem Mostert for most touchdowns from a running back position. He's got the total yards. I mean, they don't often give it to running backs, but CMC is in a position where he could definitely achieve that mark. So if these quarterbacks don't go nuclear, if Josh Allen doesn't get that number 1 seed, et cetera, like a lot of things have to line up for a position player other than quarterback to win the MVP. CMC is the most lined up to do it. And then behind him is Tyreek, only because like he missed that week, and that's going to really, really hurt him. But like if he goes nuclear the next 2 weeks, then yes, there's outside chance.
Right, because if Miami beats Baltimore in Baltimore and then they beat the Bills, I mean Miami would then be the number 1 seed. He would be over 2,000 yards. I think that's pretty simple, just to give it to the best player on the best team.
Yeah, I mean that's always the simple way to do it. So, comeback player of the year, go. Don't say DeMar Hamlin.
Bro, you know he's listen, Vegas says it's DeMar Hamlin.
I don't give a what Vegas says. Dude has played 5 games. He's recorded 2 tackles. I get it. The story. I get it. The story is awesome. However, he's not good. I mean, we saw Alex Smith come back from having his leg go that way, and that makes sense. Like, and a lot of people that didn't qualify last year, like, so they had to give it to Geno because it's like, all right, he was a bum. Now he's good all of a sudden. So that makes sense. There wasn't any stories. Spoiler alert. Guess what? Your comeback player of the year next year is Aaron Rodgers. But I'm talking about this year. Aaron Rodgers will be the comeback player of the year next year.
I think I got somebody better.
Uh-oh.
For next year.
Hit me.
It'd be Kirk Cousins.
Oh, the NFL loves Kirk Cousins, don't they?
I mean, and he was putting up numbers this year. Like, as much as I hate that man, he was top 5 quarterback.
I get it, but Aaron Rodgers didn't play a game. I mean, he played a snap, and it snapped. So,
I mean, but we'll see, because like it's the Jets, it's Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but minus spoilers for next year. Who's winning it this year?
Dude, it's Damar Hamlin, as much as you don't want it to be.
I don't want it.
Come on.
Okay, first of all, he's the favorite, so we want plus money around here.
I
Okay,
mean,
we want plus money.
so like I kind of took a look vaguely. I mean, I wouldn't have been that far off from Vegas, but like I would have said Flacco and then Baker Mayfield. Um, and then somehow like you got Tua on there. He's next.
Yeah, because he was hurt a bunch last year. I mean,
Right. So if I'm picking and I'm not going the good story route, I'm picking Flacco over Baker Mayfield.
I gotta go. I gotta go Baker Mayfield because it's sustainability. He's gonna be a division winner most likely after they beat the Saints on Sunday. Like he's putting up numbers that are better than Patrick Mahomes' numbers, who was the MVP front runner not but 3 weeks ago. So it's like it's got to be Baker Mayfield. If I'm placing ducats, again, spoiler alert, which I already have, I'm placing my money on Baker Mayfield. So I got to go that route. What's the other one? Defensive Player of the Year. I think we were both kind of in a close consensus that it probably should be Myles Garrett.
He's leading. He's leading right now. He's minus money.
Okay, well, if I
I
rose the argument for Damar Hamlin, we want positive money. So if it's not Myles Garrett, who's it going
to? Easy money would just be Micah Parsons. I think he's second. One. I think he's second, and then you got Watt. That's the only 3 people I could see winning it. I think technically every year you could give it to Aaron Donald for a guy a guy who's triple teamed every year. He probably should get it. But no, man, it's Myles, best player on arguably a top 2 defense, top 3 defense, however you want to look at it. He's a game changer. Like there's only probably 4 guys in the National Football League on the defensive side that are like legit can alter a game. Like we saw the Browns defense kind of with Garrett out against the Rams. They looked horrible. Literally horrible. So like, and it's the same thing. It's no different than when Pittsburgh loses TJ Watt. They look horrible.
Sure.
If you take Micah Parsons away from the Cowboys, I bet you they would look average at best.
Hey, you know what the Bills did to beat the shit out of the Cowboys? They took away Micah Parsons.
Yeah, you want to know how you beat Micah Parsons? You literally run the football straight at him.
Run straight at his ass. Just run straight at him. That was the Dolphins' recipe to that victory. They didn't have the amount of rushing yards that the Bills did, of course, but they were just like, listen, why am I going to drop back and pass and let this guy ruin this game when I could just run straight at him?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, I mean, again, we're not NFL head coaches.
Well, I mean,
guys on a podcast.
On unrelated note, what killed, like, as the Dolphins fan, what killed the Cowboys in that game was Tyron Smith was out, and, like, they couldn't stop Bradley Chubb. He lived in the Dallas backfield all day.
That's fair.
They literally couldn't stop him. If Dallas's O-line is healthy, or if, Tony Pollard or the fullback actually get into the end zone, like, did you ever see the still picture of Tony Pollard?
Absolutely, his entire body in the end zone, but not the ball.
Well, it's just the fact that, like, they show you, it's like, they show you, like, Tony Pollard getting the ball, and, like, the caption is like, he didn't score on this play.
Yo, I saw that a bunch of times. Like, why he cut back to take a blow and got caught, whereas he could just, I don't know, do what any other person does at the running back position and sprint towards the pylon. Like, yeah, whatever.
As much as I love my Dolphins, it's the Cowboys lost that game. We didn't win it; they lost it.
Well, my Bills beat the shit out of the Cowboys, so yeah,
that's 100% true.
I mean, yeah. Coach of the year before we get into the DFS slate. Again, I think my bet would probably be. I want to say Stefanski, but I think they're going to take it away from him only because he just won it like 2 years ago. So if not him, McVay, right?
I would go McVay. If Houston makes the playoffs, it goes to DeMeco Ryans. That's easy. Everybody thought that team would be picking top 2.
Agreed.
So McVay is my pick. And then it would go DeMeco if they make the playoffs. outside chance would probably be like, um, like if Minnesota made the playoffs, I don't see how you don't give it to Kevin O'Connell. Like,
They ain't making the playoffs, bruh.
I doubt it. I don't see it going to Pete Carroll.
I mean, you want to talk about stories? Why not Dan Campbell? It's
Dan
the first
Campbell.
division title in 30 years, bro.
Listen, that one makes. I think it probably should go to Campbell. I think that'd be pretty cool.
30 years, bro. Detroit gets to celebrate. Wow. Good for them, man. Good for the Lions. Good.
I was 2.
Good on the Lions. And I mean, yeah, right? You know?
Literally 2.
Yeah, I was a hot 8 years old last time the Lions won a division. Wow. I am almost 40 now. Holy shit. Anywho.
I got cousins who weren't even alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with the Browns because now they have the longest drought for division titles. So I would like to see the Browns win a division title before my kids go to college. Not high school, just college.
I'm just saying, like, I know you're a Bills fan and a Browns fan, so it's like you need Baltimore to win, but you also need them to lose.
I know. I'm in a terrible situation. A terrible situation. It's hard out here for NFL fans, man. It's hard. All right, man, let's get into it. The DFS slate, 13 gamer, like we said, and we did have some value at the quarterback position. Of course, we're going to go position by position, breaking down our favorite plays, of course, and we're going to slap them real quick because we gave you some betting, some futures bets for the rest of the season. Now we're going to hit you with the DFS side of it to build your Week 17 lineups. Tyrod Taylor has now replaced DeVito as the starter going against the Rams. Could be a high-scoring affair. We never know. Like I said, I think the offense is a little more, I don't want to say balanced, but definitely more explosive now with Tyrod Taylor. Jacoby Brissett is now the starter in Washington for the Commies. They get the 49ers. Every time that Jacoby Brissett's been on the field, he's led touchdown drives. So, I mean, there's that. Jarrett Stidham gets to face the hapless Chargers after Russell Wilson's benching. So there's a lot of different places to go on the low end. And on the high end, of course, you know, you got your Josh Allens and your Jalen Hurtses of the world. Brock Purdy looking to bounce back. He's got a grade 2 stinger, apparently, but from early reports, he seems to be fine. We always want to target Washington's secondary, but if he's not a full go, and especially after that terrible performance he had last game out against the Ravens, where are you going at the quarterback position this week?
Yeah, I mean, at the top end, to me, it's easily Jalen Hurts. I don't even think that's debatable. Philadelphia needs a game where they absolutely come out and beat the shit out of somebody. Excuse my language there, but like they need that going into the playoffs. Kyler Murray is expected to play.
Who cares?
He didn't, but with Kyler Murray, like that the Philadelphia's defense is ass. So at least if Kyler's in there, that game won't get too out of hand. I don't think, because like he can keep it close with them, at least, you know, keep it to within 10 to where like Jalen Hurts has to keep trying. Again, Philadelphia's defense it's poor. I mean, let's not even like, we watched Tyrod come out and the Giants were in that game up until like the last 5 minutes. So like we saw the big play, we saw the big play to Slayton, obviously. So I do like Hurts going into the high end. I don't know how I feel about Josh Allen against the Patriots because, like, it's in Buffalo, which helps, but man, it's such a weird matchup every time he plays New England. Like, they lost the last time to New England.
Agreed. Yep.
So like it's so hard. Plus, like, Steph Diggs is this kind of just, man, he's been non-existent, that guy. Like, and I understand like the schemes and everything changed up, but it's just hard.
When we needed him the most, he disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, like, and now if I'm kind of looking into his mid tier, I'm gonna play Brock Purdy because it just prints money on the main slate. If you don't play him with CMC, or if you do play him with CMC, it doesn't matter. You're gonna want a 49er in your lineup. I think you probably should set that rule for yourself. You're gonna want one, like, and then again, let God's hands take the wheel from there. And then as we're kind of going down the list here, 2 more guys I'll mention. both quarterbacks are in the same game, but Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr. Baker Mayfield has been doing well. They've been a little bit of a heater here. That Saints defense isn't as great as what it is. Obviously, we know Tampa Bay is the ultimate pass funnel. Trevor Lawrence getting hurt, but CJ Beathard actually came in there and put up some numbers against them. Derek Carr has been playing pretty well. I think he does have like back to back over like 40 attempts, like in the past two games. Obviously, here he's coming off of a 28-point game against the Rams. Kind of a little bit of a hidden blowout there, although the game was close, so he was in catch up mode. 20 points against the Giants, so some effort there. And then my two like puke quarterbacks this week would be AOC. I understand that they completed one pass in the second half against the Chiefs. But this Colts defense it's not very well. It's indoors. It's in Indianapolis, I do believe. And then Jarrett Stidham's playing this Chargers defense. We've seen Stidham come out before against good defenses and ball out. Might be more of a DraftKings play there because he's really cheap. I haven't looked at his FanDuel price, but like I said, for me, the high end is Hurts. That mid tier, I'm kind of looking at Carr and Baker. I'll kind of make a determination from there. And then if I'm bottling out, it's probably AOC or Stidham.
Okay. I definitely like where that's going. I'm kind of leaning one of two ways. So if I'm playing Hurts, he's in a CMC lineup, right? If I'm playing the opposite way, like the Purdy side, I'm playing DeAndre Swift. It's one of the two because someone's going to tear up the Cardinals, someone's going to tear up the Commies. You got to have an Eagle and a 49er in the lineup. It's just sorry. It's just the way the slate's going to break down on Sunday. It's one side or the other side. So don't enter any lineups without a 49er and an Eagle this Sunday. That's the caveat, right? So the Tampa Bay New Orleans game, everybody's going to flock to Derek Carr. And it grosses me out. I mean, like how much money, chill, you and I, just us, have lost on Derek Carr.
I have actually not played him a lot this year. So
because we learned our lesson, chill, because we learned after the years of doing this to one another.
And I totally get it, but like, man, Tampa Bay's pass defense is so bad.
Play Baker Mayfield. Just play Baker Mayfield. Play the Tampa side.
And again, Baker Mayfield, like the Tampa side, I think is going to be great. Again, I don't know if Lattimore's in or out. Don't know how much
he's out.
You want to put. Then you go fire up some Mike Evans.
Mike Evans every week, bro. Oh, and Rashard White every week, bro. That's the 5 words of wisdom from the DFS Deli. Right. Simple as that. Or you can run some minis, and we'll get to our receiver here in a little bit, but you can run some minis like some Olave, Mike Evans if you don't want to use either of the quarterbacks. Or there's a lot of ways you can go, but I agree. I think some probably like minus like the Ravens and Dolphins game, which again, because of the stakes that are on the line, it could be one of those play tight games, just kind of like the Dolphins Cowboys game that we just witnessed. No one got there except CeeDee Lamb. Like that was supposed to be the game. It was 49.5 total.
He got there.
No one got there.
He got there on one play.
Sure did. So I mean, I think that Ravens game could be highly contested. And I don't think that regardless of how attractive Tyreek Hill always is, how attractive like Isaiah Likely on the other side always is. Your league leader of touchdowns next to CMC is in that game as well. But again, because of what's on the line, I think that total is wrong. I would definitely go to the under. And I don't think because of the pricing especially, that's probably going to be a game I avoid, to be honest. So and there's other places we can pick on. Again, there's domination spots in just what we mentioned. One place the Commies, the other place the Cardinals. Right. I would just load up with those two teams and be happy about it. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm probably not going to touch Josh Allen this week only because I think it could be one of those, the Bills won, but nothing came out of the game type deal. So I think that's an avoid for me. But yeah, I'm kind of just targeting Baker, the Hurt Business, or Brock Purdy. That's probably the end of the list. Or and if I want to get really really wild, yes, Jarrett Stidham, because the Chargers are sauce on defense. We could get vintage Stidham. I don't know what vintage Stidham looks like, but
You hope it's
vintage
when
Stidham.
you hope it's when they played the Niners. That's what you hope. That's what you hope.
Wait, are you going to run some Jarrett Stidham, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton stacks with me?
Is Sutton going to be playing?
Good question.
I guess because it might just be Judy, and then I think
You're going to run some Marvin Mims, Jerry Jeudy stacks with me with Stidham?
bro, I'd be more inclined to run Mims if it was Russ. At least I know Russ will give him a YOLO ball here and there.
Well, at least you know Marvin Mims is going to fumble at some point. Maybe even twice on the same play. You never know. You never know.
What about I was gonna say, hey, how about Anthony hitting that 2-leg parlay, huh? With Gesicki and the
what a bastard!
$650.
Anytime touchdowns between freaking Gesicki and Zeke. Wow. That's how bad I was running. I got Anthony hitting parlays, and I can't hit a damn thing.
Shout out to Anthony.
Seriously. You ready to head over to running back?
I think, yeah, running back, I don't think it's going to take too long.
I mean, so CMC and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right?
I mean, yeah, CMC. The Rams guys kind of scare me because of the whole West Coast team playing in the 1 o'clock window.
That's fair.
But they are coming off of the mini bye. So, like, part of me, well, this maybe not as much on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, going from CMC, who's at 11K, to Kyron, and I don't know Kyron's price because I don't have it pulled up. But, I mean, like, the top part, you got that. I think one player who becomes extremely interesting here is probably Travis Etienne. I don't know what his ownership's going to be, but, like, again, Carolina is the run funnel. The literal run funnel. They do not let you pass. So Travis Etienne comes a little bit intriguing. You mentioned Pacheco. DeAndre Swift to me on DraftKings is free at 6,500. I don't think he's priced up enough.
He's $23 on Yahoo, chill.
Is that good?
So to compare prices, CMC is $42.
He's a fourth of your salary.
Kyron Williams is $36. Travis Etienne, the aforementioned, is $26. And DeAndre Swift in a nut matchup is $23 on Yahoo. So you load up some Travis Etienne and DeAndre Swift, you literally have the price of CMC.
That's nice.
I think I'd rather do that and just hope that I don't get 50 bombed by CMC on Sunday.
That sounds intriguing. Two other guys I'll kind of mention here, and then I'll kind of pass it on to you. I mean, truthfully, I'm not really interested in the Miami guys. Again, Baltimore, great defense. It's hard. I mean, CMC did a pretty good job, but again, two different teams. The other two would be the Raiders running backs. Like, I think Zamir White would become the chalk if Josh Jacobs is ruled out. I don't think he's getting ruled out.
Right.
But I mean,
he was close to playing last week, so he should be back this week in theory, but it's a Wednesday.
But
so
I mean, with a team that definitely wants to run the ball, on DraftKings, Josh Jacobs is 6,200 going up against the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
That just seems really, like, I guess more or less just finding guys to where, like, you can kind of fade Zeke here and maybe be okay if you play like Swift and Jacobs. Again, if CMC gets 50, and then you're buried, and he could, or Debo can go for 40 and you're okay, like. Or they both
Ayuk, same thing, or Kittle, same thing. I mean,
right.
That's the tricky part about playing 49ers.
Javonte Williams is kind of in a timeshare now. Like, I don't know how that looks.
I mean, I get
Uh,
the timeshare with Javante, but at the same time, this matchup is kind of sexy. That and like, how much are they going to let Jared Stidham throw?
Sean Payton, he might let him throw a lot just to prove a point he's better than Russ.
Oh, there's gonna be a shove it up Russ's ass game.
It
Are we
might be,
locking in? Are we locking in Jared Stidham right now?
but
Chill.
well,
Just
hold
say
on.
it.
He might want Stidham to throw more. That way he can go to management and be like, listen, Russ don't fit. Because no matter what, Russ is getting cut at the end of this year, I guess, regardless. So maybe that point's null and void. But
Nah, I think Sean Payton is a vindictive motherfucker, man. I
oh
think
yeah,
that I think Jared Stidham could drop 303 on this Chargers defense because they're that bad. And like you said, there might be a point to prove. So if we could have like the cheapest stack. You want to fit the CMCs of the world? Here's your pathway to do it. Just have yourself a Broncos stack with like no Chargers bring back, of course. Like don't do that. Don't do that.
no, don't do that.
Don't do that. Just a cheap, skinny Stidham stack with Jerry Judy or is who's their other tight end? The dude from the Saints, the old one?
Troutman.
Troutman. Yeah, get some Troutman. You'd be dancing. You can load up CMC and Kyron and anybody you want. It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Running backs is, yeah, it gets to be a little bit of a weird place. Um, you know, like Singletary kind of went back to a timeshare type of deal, but
Well, they
that
were
game
just getting their ass kicked the entire game last
they
week.
they
So
they were. I'm not really interested in mixing it against Kansas City. Uh,
never.
you get Bijan. Bijan had a great game last week without the touchdown, going up against the Bears in Chicago. Justin Fields is playing his new team, so that's entertaining.
Ah, reckless speculation.
I mean, I would be like, if Chicago keeps him, I'd be very surprised. On this unrelated note, but
Mm-hmm.
neither here or there. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Rashad White. He always gets there. The top guys are good. I think I'd rather play Kyron over CMC.
If you want to pick from one of the top guys, I get it.
Yeah,
I might be just sticking in the mid tier this week. I think the mid tier is fun. I think the mid tier has great matchups, and we got to deal with Clyde Edwards-Helaire chalk anyway. So might as well just go ahead and sling that in there and just move on. So, I'm ready to jump over to receiver if you're ready.
yeah, that's cool.
Sweet. So we mentioned a couple plus matchups. Of course, the commies are on the slate, so anybody involving the commies can be played. And then Tampa, like you said, the pass funnel that they are. If we get a healthy Olave, he's probably going to be one of the most popular receivers on the slate. Rashid Rice every week, bro, apparently, because he only has one person to throw to. Either their backups are getting hurt or that offense just looks dusty in general. To me, that's I've been saying that since week 1, but here we are. But there are options, like you said at the top, that we can get to if we want to play the narrative that Tyreek Hill is got that outside chance looking in at MVP. He's gonna have to have back-to-back nuclear games. So if you want to ride that narrative and you feel like this is one of them, go ahead and like load them up. Any San Francisco receiver is on the table, either Debo or Ayuk. And then we got Puka Nacua chasing records. He's only a few off, I think, of 140 something away from the rookie record. So, you got that narrative going for you. So it's one of those things where, like, at the top, you can pick and choose. And in the mid tier and at the bottom tier, we might have some value open up as the week goes along because of aforementioned injuries. Like you said, Cortland Sutton could be in or out. Jalen Waddle, same thing, high ankle sprain. So there's going to be a lot of variables that could fall into place as we get closer to Sunday. But variables aside, who are you looking at this week?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of started up here at the top. Just taking a look here. I really like AJ Brown this week. Basically, any Eagle is going to work this week. I think. AJ Brown was kind of bitching again. We
Oh
know
boy.
like, and we know the last time we complained. Obviously, those two are really good friends. They go way back. Even Devonta Smith, like wasn't complaining, but like just saying that they haven't played a good game, even though like they won. So I think either one of the Eagles guys here is going to be really good. You mentioned the Rams guys. I guess if I have to pick, I'll probably picking Puka. Out of the two, I kind of like the more. I think Puka is probably more boom bust at this point, but like I'll take the upside there. Again, the Giants' defense is not great. Um, so there, again, Ayuk or Debo, I think make a ton of sense. Debo has an injury, so just kind of monitor that. Um, One guy who I think is going to go overlooked here is Devonta Adams. Um, Again, like I think his name is Sneed for Kansas City.
Yeah.
He's a really good corner. The Raiders obviously completed one pass in the second half, but that's just how that game was. They got it done defensively and on the ground because Kansas City couldn't stop White. Um, so like if you're gonna give me like less than 5% Devontae Adams against a questionable defense, I kind of want to take a shot on that. Kind of might be like my gross take here. Um, you mentioned the Saints guys, Shaheed and Olave. Again, I think that game has the sneaky shootout potential, quote unquote.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I think I'm gonna be all over that game this weekend, man. I don't know what it is. Something about it. Something about it.
um, One guy who I think becomes more intriguing now is Terry McLaurin because Jacoby Brissett loves himself some
Mm.
Terry McLaurin.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
like
You
the
can get F1 on the cheap.
we mentioned Judy before. I do like Judy. He's a good salary relief there at 5,100. Again, Shaheed, especially on DK's 4,600. Again, it's really cheap. Um, and so it's kind of what I'm just looking at here. Wide receivers kind of interesting. I think you have good value. I don't think I'm playing any of the. I don't think I'm playing any of the Jags guys. I don't think I'm playing DJ Moore either. Uh, you might get Chase back, but again, like Kansas City's corner is super good, and the Browning is starting to kind of show his true colors. So
Turn it
again,
back into a pumpkin. I get it.
he's kind of turning back into the pumpkin. Zay Flowers is Lamar Jackson's favorite target. He's going to get a ton of volume. Miami's defense has been playing very, very well, but their numbers are kind of blown up because they've played the Jets twice. I understand that they did do well against the Cowboys, but CeeDee Lamb still got there. Again, if the Cowboys have a healthy offensive line, I think CeeDee Lamb cooks Ramsey, and I'm a Ramsey guy. But like again, Dallas didn't have an offensive line to stop Chubb. So like as much as I want to say Miami's defense has been like kind of elite here, it's smoky. Well, smoky at best.
Sure.
Um, so we'll see in the next 2 weeks when they play Lamar and Josh Allen how good their defense really is. But again, wide receiver, it's a little bit interesting. As of this week, there's not a ton of value. And again, I'm just speaking from a DraftKings sense here. We saw some of that value absolutely whiff last week. Parker Washington. If you want to sell me on Traylon Burks, you can.
Oh
Um,
no. Don't do that.
you could sell me on Burks. Again, if
I would rather sell you on the Giants guys because they get an upgrade at quarterback, a guy that's willing to take shots downfield. We saw Darius Slayton, even though they were trailing the entire game, he got a shot downfield, ended up with 18 PPR points. He probably might evolve into Tyrod Taylor's favorite target at some point. So it's like one of these Giants guys could be salary relief. They're going to be in a plus matchup because the Rams are going to put up points. So you want a little back and forth with a little salary saver, I would say if you're playing Puka, bring a Giants guy along. I mean, Saquon is always the automatic when it comes to, backfield touches inside the red zone. But if we're talking outside the red zone, we're talking Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. They all have decent prices to the point where you could justify saying, if I'm playing a Ram,
Well,
I can
so
save some salary right over here.
Wandale looks like he's dealing with an injury here.
Even
But
better.
I think if I want to play a Giants guy, I feel like it's Waller.
You talking about Darren Waller that missed 2 wide open touchdowns last week? Or in the one that Tyrod Taylor overthrew him on? Or no, he underthrew him on. Whatever it was.
I think because when Tyrod was in before, he was still like throw to Waller, wasn't he? Basically.
Well, the fact of the matter is, we're talking about saving salary, and Darren Waller is not going to save you that much compared to the other Giants receivers. So I'm just throwing out the way to save a little bit of dough.
If I got to pick a Giants guy, I'd just go boom bust with Slayton at 34.
Darius, break the Slayton, baby.
Yeah, because like Wyatt didn't even get a target last week.
Oh, then it's Darius Slayton on the DFS Deli. He is Deli endorsed Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I'd roll with Slayton.
Can I interest you in the human Dortch?
No, you can't interest me in a single Cardinal that's not Trey McBride.
No, okay.
All right. I would play Dortch in a Philly onslaught because you'll need him to fit.
All right, last one. Again, he's going to fumble a couple times.
Not Mims.
But if Sutton's not playing, Marvin Mims, question mark?
Let me see what the update here, what Sutton is, or kind of what they're saying.
Just kind of throwing out a couple salary savers,
So Sutton's dealing with a concussion. So
he ain't playing.
So I guess we'll see how that goes.
Marvin Mims season.
You know what? Yeah, you could sell me on Mims.
They want to see what they got in the guy. I mean, he's probably the fastest guy on the damn field whenever he's out there. He's just holding on to the damn ball.
You want to go Stidham and Mims? You could sell me on it.
Chill.
Don't even double it. Don't even double them.
You don't want Judy along with it? You just want Mims Stidham?
Yep.
All right.
Because if he catches a 70-yard bomb or a 50-yard bomb, you need the rest of your lineup to do something. Because Stidham got a little bit of a rushing floor.
That's what you like to hear, Chill. That's what you like to hear. The rushing floor.
The rushing floor.
All right. Tight end should be pretty straightforward because it's all trash. Trey McBride, obviously, every week gets there. Isaiah Likely, obviously, coming on as one of Lamar's favorite targets. Got him on the slate. And again, one of those 49ers that we've mentioned, George Kittle, who had a great game last time they were out on this past game. It's just... We saw Dr. Schultz kind of get loose on the Browns a little bit, so there was a little bit of chemistry. But if we get Stroud back, it definitely elevates him. And then that's about it, man.
I just want to say, if Stroud comes back, I think you play Nico Collins.
I mean, you could have played him last week. You were okay.
He got 11 points.
He got a cheap touchdown to salvage. I'm just
he did.
You would have been okay.
He did, but I think Nico and the boys kind of become intriguing there.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I think either Likely or Kittle are probably the best tight end players on the slate. And McBride, of course.
Yeah, I mean...
It's going to cost you, but I mean, they're still probably the best plays.
Man, for some reason, I'm going to talk myself into Travis Kelce, and I don't like Kelce.
You're going to talk yourself into Kyle Pitts again is what you're going to do.
If it fits, it fits.
All right. Just throwing it out there.
But man, I watched Hawkinson have himself a good game against these same Bengals. I watched these Bengals get cooked by Mason Rudolph.
They did. They did.
Obviously,
they did get cooked by Mason Rudolph.
And don't get me wrong. I understand Mahomes and them are having a bad couple games here, but dude, it's at Kansas City. I understand the last game was at Kansas City, but they got embarrassed. They got literally embarrassed by the Raiders. And obviously Burrow's not playing, but this is still that rivalry game, you know?
Rivalry game.
So
I get
like
it.
I'm intrigued by Kelsey, depending on what the rest of the lineup looks like.
I mean, we were talking about this New Orleans Tampa game. Another tight end in that game is obviously Kate Otten. I mean, he could bank you a
Oh yeah,
touchdown randomly for no
Kate
reason.
Ot- Kate Otten is viable. You playing yourself some Jimmy Graham?
The fuck did you just say to me?
Are you playing Jimmy Graham?
Absolutely not.
He's almost got as many touchdowns as Travis Kelsey.
Facts. But he was catch this last game when I bet his anytime prop because that
Oh
would have been
no.
4 straight games and he didn't hit it. He didn't hit a target. So whatever. If I'm playing a tight end, you know it's Weapon X. So
Yeah, Weapon X is fine. I mean, Jawan Johnson is probably not a bad if you need filler.
that's way too many Saints tight ends for one day. I can't bring myself to do it. I mean, one of them will probably get there. Like I said, I really, really like this game environment between Tampa and New Orleans. So
I mean, Chigakonkwo finally went over the 10-point mark.
is Derrick Henry his quarterback this week?
Could be. We don't know.
Because I'm in. Get my double stack. That's my stack right there. King Henry and Chig. Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest, and off topic for this particular position is that it's probably Derrick Henry's swan song, right? He's not going to be a Titan next year, right? There's zero way.
Yeah, no, he's not coming back to Tennessee. He's going to go to a team. He'll go to a team that just. I think he'll be in a timeshare next year. I don't think
As
he'll
he
be
should
the guy.
be.
I don't think he'll be the guy. Like I said, the most sense for him would be like Dallas. I think Philadelphia makes a ton of sense if you go him and Swift.
Why? So did I have the touch Jalen Hurts' ass next year? They can just say, here, let me get it to the big guy with dreads in the back of me to get these 1-yard touchdowns.
Or they put Derrick Henry behind center and they push him.
Bruh, stop. the defensive line would say, you know what? You scored.
You
scored. No, go ahead.
It saves Jalen Hurts from getting hit, so they just put Derrick Henry there and just push him. They don't
need to push him, chill.
And listen, he got obviously take a snap.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
So, I mean, what else would make sense for Derrick Henry? Just other than those are the two that jump off of my head immediately.
Selfishly, Buffalo.
Oh, you know what? I think Houston makes a ton of sense as well. I think Houston.
Dameon Pierce is young, and they just signed Singletary. I don't know how long his deal is, but
yeah, but listen, Pierce was returning fucking kickoffs.
Again, he's young. He's young. That's the only thing he's got going for him. He's probably got like 2 years left on his rookie deal.
He could get mentored.
I get it. 100% agree. Let's hit defense real quick. Like I said, a lot of backup quarterbacks that we can attack this week. I think the Rams defense against Tyrod makes sense. There's a lot of places we can go. Jacksonville always on the table. They're still getting turnovers at a high rate. And Bryce Young had one good game, and it was last week. I don't think he goes into Jacksonville and is going to be able to replicate something like that. So
no, I don't think so. In Jacksonville has a good secondary.
Yeah,
they're up there for like league lead in turnovers. Like so again, they're kind of a pass funnel as well. They stop the run really well. So I think the Jags defense makes a ton of sense. If you want to sell yourself on the Chargers or Broncos defense, I think that's fine.
Or I'm sorry, Broncos. Easton Stick sucks, dude. He might have tore up the Bills a little bit, but he still sucks.
Again, I think if you want to sell yourself on one of those, it's fine. I think it's very thin, but if you wanted to play the Patriots, I think that's thin. If you're trying to jam something in and you're not playing a Bill, I think he's been playing well. So again, I think it's thin, but I think if you want to play the Patriots defense, I think that's fine.
See, that's why you need to come over here to Yahoo, chill, because the Patriots defense is $12 over here on Yahoo. You know who else is $12? The Rams defense is $12. You know who's $10? Chill, that you can get even cheaper than that at the men? The Jaguars defense is $10.
Wow.
Load them up, chill. I'm sorry, they're 16. My bad. So the Rams, definitely. The Rams,
The
12
only
bucks.
my only problem with the Rams is like Tyrod doesn't really turn over the ball.
Yeah, but hear me out. And I'm not pulling a Dale on this one, but hear me out. When's the last time Tyrod Taylor made it through a game healthy?
Dude, you're not wrong.
I mean, we might see this before you know it. Just saying. I'm not wishing an injury upon anybody because Lord knows the NFL has suffered enough injuries this year, especially at the quarterback position. But literally, I can't remember the last time Tyrod Taylor played 4 quarters of NFL football.
He at least made it through 2.
That's positive. And then Aaron Donald eats him. I'm like, wait, 1. It's like, yep, I'm fucking done. I'm done here. Well, chill, as always, as customary. Well, for you, we need a bold take. Me, right. I need to ask you to make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're still degenerating with us, if you're still gambling on DFS, if you want to dabble on sites that you've never dabbled on before and join me on Yahoo, come on over. Week 17 slate is just fine. A lot of avenues we could go across, and it's going to be a fun one. I mean, it's going to be a fun slate. So, but before we get out of here, chill. Give me something bold for this Sunday. What do the people need to invest in?
All right. We'll let's see. Let's see what we can get into. So let's do. So I think this is bold. And this I haven't been quite bold in a while. So let's just go. I think Devonta Adams returns to form here. I could see like 6 to 7 receptions. He gets the 100 yards. He gets a couple of touchdowns. So I think Devonta Adams kind of reminds us that he's still relevant here.
Elite.
Yeah,
elite.
I think he's elite. And just to kind of correlate with that, maybe I'll just throw a nice hot 10 on his first time touchdown score. So
hey man, the 10 is hot.
Yeah, so hot. I think, or maybe I should ask Anthony, like, hey, like out of this game, dude. Like before you give me your bold take, so like, obviously, so like when we got home from the bar, we went to my uncle's next door. To hang out with the rest of the family for Christmas. And like, we went over there relatively at the start of the halftime or start of the second half for that game. And I'm like, I think his 2-leg parlay was Javonte and Gesicki. So I think that's what it was. And he's like, yeah, I just need Gesicki to get into the box. So like, I was checking on my phone and stuff during the game. I'm like, bro, he doesn't even have a reception yet. Like, he doesn't even have a target.
Right.
And then, like, 5 minutes later, I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, the Patriots scored. And I look, I just see Mike Gesicki. I'm like, no fucking way. I said, hey, Anthony. I'm like, Mike Gesicki just scored a touchdown. He's like, what? It was like, we were in the middle of playing Uno. So, like, he goes over there and he looks at his phone and he's just like, oh, it's already in my account. $650. Like, I was like, good for you, bro. Merry Christmas. I'm like, now you see why we gamble? You see that rush?
That's why we do it. Shit like that. That's why we do it.
So, yeah. So, good for him. But, yeah, I do like me some Devonta Adams to kind of come back out and come back to relevancy this week. So,
I like it. My bold take is really simple. I saw Aiden O'Connell have a career game against this terrible defense. So, I'm going the same thing. Jarrett Stidham this week, baby. Load him up. It's happening this week. The FU game to Russell Wilson. 303 from Jarrett Stidham this week. Check it out.
That sounds good.
But thank you, Chill, of course, for joining me early on a Wednesday night.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully we'll see someone in the deli on Saturday to get you ready for the rest of the main slate. For Baker, who I'm sure is working, for Dale, who I'm sure is doing some random task at home. Got my man Chill here. I've been Saleh Ali Shaheed. we're going to close up the shop for the night. And of course, we're going to see you all at the top. Thank you all for listening.